Bow down, bitches. Bow down, bitches. Bow down, bitches. And
This is a nice intro song.
It's a nice intro song, Beyonce. Couch Media Podcast. What is good, you guys? What is good? No Dylan today, but shout out to my boy Delano. I'm Lewis, and I'm here with a good friend of the podcast, the esteemed Damian Nolan. Damian, how the motherfucker are you once again?
I'm good.
How you feeling? We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah. Have you ever had Pocky?
I have, yes.
Okay, this is a recent love of mine.
Ooh.
I staved away from it for a while because it's the stereotypical weeaboo food, and I didn't want to, like...
I haven't got Pocky in a while.
I didn't want to become that.
This is Pocky Cast.
But, fuck, man.
It's really good.
Pocky is fucking good.
It's one of the great gifts we've gotten.
Yeah.
We got a lot of time. We told we to discuss. What do you want to get into first? Sonic Mania?
I kind of want to save that.
We'll save it. What do you want to get into first?
Let's talk about DuckTales first,
I guess, DuckTales.
Because you were eager to talk about that.
So, for those of you who don't know, DuckTales, I think DuckTales was a show in the late 80s.
It was also based on the Uncle Scrooge comic books by Carl Barks.
By Carl Barks, the great late Carl Barks, great comic book artist for Disney.
And there was another guy, too, who kind of continued it. I can't remember his name, but he was also very good.
It was before Quack Pack, which I came up for that reboot.
Oh, fuck, man.
I think I will.
I forgot about Quack
We all try to. But we're not here about that. But they made it. So it was a really good show in the 80s with a movie about it. It's a really quality, good kid show. And Disney thought, we're going to remake it. So then they brought on Dana Terrace, and now we have the great DuckTales. And it's...
Well, Dana Terrace is just
director.
She's a director. She's not one of the showrunners.
No, the showrunner is a completely different guy.
Dana Terrace is of particular interest because she was she worked on Gravity Falls, and she is Alex Hirsch's girlfriend.
No, yeah. And so I heard about the reboot. I don't know about you, Dane, but I was pretty I was a little bit cynical about it because I was like, it's DuckTales and remaking it.
Okay, here's how I felt about it.
Go ahead.
I only watched the original series when I was very young.
Right.
I liked it, but I was never like heavily into it the way I was into things like Ninja Turtles.
Right.
Or Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like a show that I was okay with when I was very young.
Exactly.
So when I saw this reboot, I was like, okay, whatever. But then I started really looking into it, and it has a lot of Gravity Falls alumni.
It does.
Working on it. It has John Aoshima.
It
has Dana Terrace. There are a few others. But those are the two who stuck out to me.
Right. And they did a 45-minute pilot episode that premiered. And
just today, well, technically...
Yeah.
No, we're not past 12 yet, so it is today.
Yeah.
They released 2 other episodes.
And what you think?
I'm
really into it.
I am really liking it.
I'm liking it a lot.
It is DuckTales done in the style of Gravity Falls. And what that means is there is so much attention paid to the lore of not just the 80s series, but of the comic continuities.
Yeah.
There are nods to Tailspin.
Yes, there are.
There.
A lot of in-jokes like that.
If we get John Carnage in the show, because they have confirmed Darkwing Duck is going to be in the show.
Yes, they have.
Which, holy fuck.
That would be...
But if I pray we get Don Carnage from Tailspin.
I really hope we do. That'd be great.
But there are all these little things that, like, I really had to look up a lot about the show because it got me excited about it.
Like we said, without giving spoilers, it has a lot of that DNA of Gravity Falls in it.
And Gravity Falls is one of my favorite shows ever made, period, regardless of medium. Agreed. I adore Gravity Falls.
It changed kids' television a lot. Like, it brought the idea it brought the Netflix mentality.
I think technically that was Adventure Time.
That's actually true. That was a new generation of anime, but I feel like this one brought more of a serialized format. Adventure Time definitely brought more of a character development vibe, I feel like. That didn't really show more character development.
It had more of a disrupt the status quo.
Yeah.
And pay attention, because Adventure Time, to my understanding, I haven't watched very much of Adventure Time, but to my understanding, they're very unwilling to really disrupt the status quo. Like, they do it gradually.
Yeah.
But they will revert. Like, I remember there was a whole thing where Finn was supposed to lose his arm. Like, it was, like, foreshadowed a lot. And he finally does it, and then he just gets it back, and it's, like, nothing.
Yeah, it's like... This is Penn Ward left the show.
Yeah.
Like, years ago.
But, with Gravity Falls, this is quickly turning into a big Gravity Falls spiel, but we'll nip that.
Yeah.
This is just me setting
it up
just for why I'm very fascinated in this DuckTales reboot.
Mm-hmm.
But Gravity Falls is a show that was extremely daring.
Yeah.
It did not fuck around.
It did not.
It was genuinely tense and genuinely emotional, I think. That was such an emotionally resonant show. And one thing, the DuckTales showrunners, I recently read an interview with them. And
Shout out to Francisco.
And when they pitched the show to Disney, they wanted DuckTales to be entirely, like, family-centric. Like, they wanted it to be a super, super, super family-centric
I read that interview,
show.
yeah.
And the Disney executive said, this is Disney. Everything we do is family. And they said, no, we want the shitty parts of family in it, too. They want every messy, uncomfortable, awkward thing about family
Don't be
in
real.
addition to all of the happy-feelsy Disney shit. And that makes me very excited. That's very much a Gravity Falls kind of mentality. And I've already been captivated by, like I said, it's DuckTales told in the style of Gravity Falls. It's very similar humor. Very similar in that the kids who are supposed to be like 10 years old sound like grown men.
Bobby Moynihan plays one of the Ducks.
Which, it's not the same guy playing all of them?
No, it's not.
Okay, because they sound exactly the same.
That's one thing I will say. That's the one criticism I will give it. They could have done a little bit with that. I love the female. I forgot. I'm not good with names. The female. I'm sorry.
Webby.
I love her on this show.
Webby is my favorite character already. And what's so fascinating is she was the generic little girl tag along who's completely useless and extremely annoying in the original show.
Oh yeah,
and
not the case here.
Creators hated the original Webby, and they wanted to completely redo that character. And she's basically like Mabel, but way crazier. And I really dig that. And if you see her in her first scene, she has the doll, the Webby doll with the original design, and it's like stabbed into the wall with like a knife. So it's like symbolic that they're like killing the old Webby. And they said they wanted Webby to basically be the fourth triplet.
Actually,
so
I'm supportive
technically, which I really enjoy it.
I think the theme song's a little bit weird.
I didn't like it at first. It really grew on me.
It's getting on me. I'm sure I will, but
I did not like it when I first heard it. I was like, "What the?" I mean, it's hard to beat.
Well, yeah,
it's
like the high standard right there.
The DuckTales theme is the catchiest theme song ever made.
Yeah, don't add us on that.
But holy shit, the new one grew on me. It really grew on me. I really like it.
Yeah, for Disney, I did not have high hopes for this, but I'm glad. I'm looking forward to seeing where it really goes.
Yeah.
In the future, I'm looking forward to seeing where they take this, and I have high hopes.
Another thing that I fucking love.
Please do.
Well, a couple things. First, this is DuckTales spoilers for those who care. But holy shit, they're doing something with the mom.
The mom, yes.
It wasn't just even the old show didn't touch on that. The old comics didn't even touch on the mom. And Disney, when they heard that they wanted to do shit with the mom and the parents, they straight up said, "Are you sure you want to open this can of worms?
Yeah, do you really want to open that can of worms?"
Like,
mom?
Already, it's getting like, what the fuck is... It's, like, again, Gravity Falls, it's the author of the journal.
It's that.
Way. And that ended, like, fucking insane. So, like, if they're going anywhere... Like, they're bringing up shit with the Spear of Selene, which they make a joke about that in the second episode. Like, Donald is like, this is the Spear of Selene all over again. And in the Della Shrine, there's a letter about the Spear of Selene. Like, what the fuck is going on with this?
Oh man, they're actually going to. It's gonna get emotional. The whole mom fairy tale.
Fuck!
It's gonna get dark, and I love it.
Of course it is. I'm really curious who the villain of this show is gonna be, because like this show like, the original didn't really have a main villain. It was kind of a mix. It was a mix of either the Beagle Boys, Glomgold, or Mystica. The Beagle Boys. I have an interesting thing to talk about with Ma Beagle, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But if this is going the Gravity Falls route, it starts with like a bunch of different ensemble villains, and it ends with a central villain. Because Gravity Falls is like a Monster of the Week show, and it ends with Bill Cipher being the final villain, and he's been steadily built up throughout the show. I think Mystica will probably end up being the villain.
That's a good theory.
Purely for the fact that she has not shown up yet in any way, not even in promotional material.
That's true, actually.
And I don't think they are going to make their own villain.
Right.
I'm open to the idea that they will, because like I trust this creative team.
Yeah.
But I feel like Mystica is probably going to end up being the main villain. Just a hunch.
All right.
Simply because she has not appeared in anything yet.
Right.
Like, not promotional material. I don't think she's been cast yet. She is one of the most iconic villains, the original, and she was the villain of the video game, if I remember.
Yeah, she was.
Well, she's the final boss along with Glomgold.
I can see them doing a lot of good stuff with that.
I would be really interesting if Count Duckula, or whatever his name was. No, he was Vlad Dracula, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he's called Duckula, because that's the obvious pun, but there was a show called Duckula, so they couldn't use the name Duckula. So I think he was literally just called, like, Duck Dracula.
Duck Dracula.
Or something. Or Dracula Duck. Yeah, there's some water upstairs. I'll run to get some real quick. You hold off. But remind me, we gotta talk about the villain.
Thanks, yeah. But yeah. So anyway, it was going to Count Duckula. I think it might have been Duckula. I could be wrong though. But that being said, like, yeah. DuckTales. No, the show though, like, it's I can already tell, like, I'm just excited for when the show gets, like, to see the first, like, real dark, emotional moment. Because I'm loving this new trend of kid shows that aren't always happy. Like, I'm glad we're finally seeing that, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see that apply to DuckTales. See Busy Moynihan.
Once again, Gravity Falls answered that. There was shit in that show that made me cry. I sobbed on 2 separate occasions during the finale, to the point that I missed the credits because I was crying so hard.
I think I was first.
I had a mountain of tissues. Oh, like, I took a picture of it. It was literally just like as high as that box of hockey.
No one could blame you for that.
But yeah. Anyway, with the villain, I would have thought they would have made Glomgold the villain, because he's the villain of the comics. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he was introduced so quickly makes me think that he can't be the villain, because the villain's going to have to be connected to the arc of the story. And Glomgold is already, like, it doesn't seem like he's going to be the main villain. He's just going to be, like, the recurring rival villain. So I am inclined to think that Mystica is going to be the main villain, which I'm very open to, because she was already, like, kind of the most dangerous purely for the fact that she's a fucking witch.
Yeah.
So, like, I am open to Mystica being the villain, and I'm very interested in seeing what they do with her. But even if she is not the villain, I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen, or if there even is a main villain.
Right.
Which I feel like there is going to be, but, like,
I want a balance of, like, main villain and a little bit of, like. But very quickly, can we talk about this thing about the Beagle Boy, the Beagle Boys you mentioned?
Yes.
Just quickly, briefly touch on that, then we'll go to Bojack. But
I want to talk about Glomgold after that, because
please do. Never mind.
I have a theory about Glomgold. We'll actually talk about Glomgold first.
Let's do it.
Glomgold, he's already won my heart.
Nice.
In this show, he's fucking amazing. He had the best joke in any of the episodes, which Dewey confronts him. Let go of my uncle! He turns around with the shit-eating grin. No! It's such a fucking,
the delivery punches you like in
the look on his face, the fact that he just seems to shift backwards and then just goes, no! And Dewey's just, like, confused.
No!
It's so perfect.
I can't even do it justice. It's like the delivery and, like,
I can't even mimic it. It's just so, like, perfect.
It shouldn't be funny, but it is.
Glomgold with, but here's my theory. In the comics, Glomgold is not Scottish. He is South African.
No, yeah.
He was a Boer. And the reason why they changed it in the 80s show is because of the Nelson Mandela shit going on at the time. And they were uncomfortable with portraying anything South African at the time because of the whole apartheid shit going on. So they made him Scottish. And, you know, Scrooge McDuck was already Scottish. Yeah. So, my theory, and I was not the one who made this theory, I should say. I've seen it passed around by a couple people. Considering how attentive to lore this show is, and how they're playing up Glomgold's rivalry with Scrooge and how he wants to be better than him in every way, I think Glomgold is going to be South African and he's faking being Scottish. That would be amazing. To one-up Scrooge. Because even in that scene where he's talking to Donald, he thinks he's so rich and so Scottish, but I'm the one wearing a kilt, McDuck. Like, already, this character, this guy has won my heart. I already love Glomgold.
The kilt, McDuck. That actually was like one of my favorite lines in the entire episode.
Glomgold has like the best lines.
He's gonna be. I guess I'm gonna be that villain. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. His writing is just so like it's just top. I mean,
everyone's writing is.
I mean, shout out to Francisco, but yeah.
One thing I am really interested in is with the triplets. Yeah, I really have to touch on. First off, they all have their own characters now. They do. Holy shit.
They're not, yeah, because I was just...
Because the only other show that gave them their own characters was Quack Path.
Let's not talk about that.
We don't talk about
Quack Path. We don't talk about that.
But in the originals, they're just composite characters. They're just the red one, the blue one, and
they're interchangeable.
Yeah. And in this one gives them their own characters. And what's really interesting is that, you know, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Huey's the first one named. He's the red one. Red is typically the main character color.
Agreed.
He is really unimportant right now. Yeah. Dewey especially, and even Louie are already being kind of set up to be more important. And they both kind of have like personal relationships. So here's my theory. Dewey is very much being built up to have a special relationship with Scrooge. Yeah. And Louie is being built up to have a special relationship with Webby. He has been the one who's kind of interacted with her the most. He has solo moments with her a lot. Not counting the library episode, which has a Dewey team up there. But Huey has been the odd man out. He has. Which is especially bizarre because he would usually be the one who I would think would be the main character. So what I think is Huey is going to be the Donald angle. Yeah. Personally. This is purely speculation. I think he is going to be, in much the way Dewey is the bridge to Scrooge, and Louie seems to be the bridge to Webby, I think Huey is going to be the bridge to Donald or the mother, if she comes up.
Interesting.
But right now I think it's Donald, purely because we don't know much about the mother. But that's my theory for Huey, and why he seems to be kind of the odd man out who hasn't really been focused on much yet. Also, holy shit, Donald is in DuckTales.
Donald is he's actually in the show.
Do you know why he wasn't in the 80s show?
He was in the Navy. He's in the Navy.
No, like the actual reason.
Oh, no.
Like the Roy Disney did not want any of the main Disney guys being used in any television shows because he thought TV was like a lowly...
That's right,
TV was like a lowly medium.
ABC Saturday morning.
Mickey, Goofy, Donald, Minnie, and Pluto were not allowed to be used in any shows.
And Goofy was?
Yeah. No, Goofy came later because in the 90s they kind of let go of that.
Oh, yeah, because Donald is in Quack Path. True.
Yeah, and Goofy got Goof Troop.
That was a good show. But anyway, keep going.
But yeah, Donald is in the show like he was in the comics. So that makes me very happy that they're actually... My one criticism is I can't fucking understand what Donald is saying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm starting to get an ear for it, but when I first watched the first episode, I had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah, the actor they got for Donald is a little too Donald.
No, it's the same Donald actor that they've had for a while.
Oh, really?
He's been the main Donald.
So, like, it's still Tony Osama?
Yeah, but he... This isn't even a knock against him because Donald's such a hard voice to do. And to his credit, once I've paid more attention to the voice, I am able to pick up on it more. But the first time I watched that episode, I had no idea what he was saying. He was like, and I was like, what the fuck? And then we'd be like, but Donald, and they'd like answer to it. And I'm like, you're supposed to know what he's saying.
He's like, what the fuck?
But anyway, the really interesting thing about Mob Eagle. Which, aside from the fact that she is now voiced by Academy Award-winning character actress and fugitive of the law, Margot Martindale.
Martindale.
She is so fucking good as Mob Eagle. Yeah. Like, that is a match made in heaven. But the basis for the character of Mob Eagle is really interesting, just from like a historical standpoint. So in the comics, the villains were just the Beagle Boys. There was no Mob Eagle.
Right.
That's
correct.
When they made the television show, they made Mob Eagle a character.
Yeah.
And Mob Eagle, first off, genius fucking character, because the Beagle Boys are a crime gang. The villain's their mother. They're the fucking what is it? The Barker gang.
Yeah, I think something like that.
There's this famous criminal gang called the Barker gang.
Yeah.
And purportedly, the mastermind of the whole gang was their elderly mother, Ma Barker. And Ma Barker is really interesting to read into because it's all a bunch of bullshit.
Really?
Yep. She was a regular old lady whose sons happened to be a criminal gang. But really the extent of what she did was she gave them a place to hide out. And she would, like, occasionally, I think, help them, like, buy stuff, but she was never directly involved in any of their criminal activities. She would occasionally be a sort of accomplice. Like, that's not to detract from the fact that, yeah, she was aiding and abetting criminals.
Yeah, I mean...
But, like, she was basically just a regular old lady. And, she got killed in a shootout with the FBI. So, here's the thing. The FBI raided the Barker house. To kill one of the top members of the gang. And they killed him, and they killed Ma Barker. So, it was not going to be a good fucking image if the FBI killed an innocent old lady.
Yeah.
So J. Edgar Hoover made up a bunch of bullshit that she was like this criminal mastermind who had been engineering all of the Barker gang's exploits from day one. And, like, he made this whole web of lies to, like, get away from this controversy that the FBI just shot an old woman in cold blood.
Right.
And anyone who knows the Barker gang is like, yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit. She was just an old lady. So there's this whole myth. And Ma Barker is such, like, a legendary criminal figure. She was I'm pretty sure she was the inspiration for the Dola gang in Castle in the Sky.
Yeah.
Even if she wasn't, they're basically... excuse me. They're basically Barker gang XPs. And the concept of the little old grandma being the criminal mastermind is such, like, a fun concept anyway. So she's such, like, this mythic criminal figure. And the more I looked into it, I was like, oh, this is all a bunch of bullshit made by J. Edgar Hoover. It has no factual basis. It's easily disprovable if you read, like, any primary sources on the Barkers. It's literally just a lie pushed by J. Edgar Hoover that took off and became, like, this cultural staple. So yeah, Mob Eagle is founded on a lie, basically. So that's the interesting angle on Mob Eagle. But to springboard off of Margot Martindale, Bojack Horseman, very sad that Margot Martindale was not in this season.
I was too.
I'm curious if they actually killed her in season 3 with the spaghetti boat.
Yeah. But on Bojack Horseman, spoiler-free review of season 4, most heartwarming season of all 3 of them, probably.
I was extremely fascinated in this season.
Yes.
Because it was sort of bizarre. Because I'm going to exclude everything talking about the Bojack family stuff when I say this. It was a very even season.
Yeah.
It never hit the lows that season 1 hit, but I don't think it ever quite hit the highs.
Season 3 was the best season in my opinion so far.
With the exception of the Bojack family stuff. The Bojack family drama involving, you know, the
mom and
the daughter, but particularly... with Beatrice Horseman.
Oh, episode 11, that's all we're saying.
The best stuff in the whole show.
Episodes 2 and 11 are the best episodes you'll find.
Episode 11 is my favorite episode of the whole show.
Oh, hands down.
That I've described that episode as stunning.
It is.
It's
Oscar-worthy.
Yes. I will talk about the ending of episode 11 in detail in a little bit.
It's a very artsy episode, we will say that.
But the ending, what I really find interesting about this season and what I find interesting about the show is I'm really curious how I don't think this show can go on for more than another season.
I agree with that entirely. I hope this is the last season coming
I hope season 5 is the last.
Maybe I don't even want to do season.
I'm not sure. Maybe they can work it. Like, to me, it's all about execution.
I agree entirely.
But I think if they go past season 5, it's pushing the limit.
Yeah.
Because season 4 has done so much for Bojack's character. to he is no longer he's no longer sinking as a character.
No.
His role in episode 11 was some of the best character development I've seen in this show, which, considering this show is like peak like character development shit. I was so floored with the handling of Bojack as a character in this season, and particularly Beatrice Horseman is my favorite character in the show now. Before we delve into that, previously my favorite character was Sarah Lynn.
Oh yeah, the season 3 that episode with her was the sad.
Sarah Lynn, Bojack's daughter is almost a redemption for Bojack for what he did to Sarah Lynn. But
I can say right now, episode 6 is like, which is the one where he's the stupid piece of shit episode. That's the most relatable episode.
That episode, when I watched it for the first time, I was like taken aback by how similar it was to like because I'm a person who's had depression and stuff, right. And I think like at this point we're in a point in society where like you start to realize a lot of people have depression.
Yeah.
And there's like varying extents. No doubt about that. Like I was never like suicide depression levels. But from a depressive point of view, that episode resonated with me so much.
Same.
And I'd always wondered, like, what's it like for other people? And to see so many people being like, holy shit, this is how I feel. And like that episode really impressed me.
Same.
The fact that that was not my favorite episode is a testament to how good
the show is.
How good the good parts of the season
What a great writer that this show has.
And I'm before I delve into the stuff I love, I want to talk about the stuff that like was the rest of this season. It was a very middle ground season.
Yeah,
it was sort of like the not as amazing, not bad ever. I don't think this season was bad at any point.
It didn't feel
I think discounting the Bojack family stuff, I think it was a very just sort of, it towed the line.
Yeah.
And, the peanut butter election shit was really funny.
Yeah. It kind of, in my opinion, I got a little bit too, like, it's like...
To be fair, ending it with Jessica Biel losing the election because she didn't like avocado was fucking perfect.
That really was!
That was, and I do really give them credit. This was not a just pure commentary on Donald Trump.
Yeah, when I came political, it was very subtle.
It was more a commentary on
celebrity
culture
politics.
And the American voter mindset and how goldfish memory-esque and fickle the voter base is.
Yeah,
and if anything, it was really viciously critical of the American.
But I like that. I like how they went there.
Well deserved.
I like how it wasn't just like a typical, it could have been. It
was like, this does fall on the electorate's shoulders for a lot.
Yeah,
and that's not to get any more political than we already are. Yeah. Because me and Lewis had a whole conversation.
We pre-gamed already, so don't worry.
Pre-gamed.
But that being said, but the other stuff though,
I really
frack me, Mr. Peanut Butter. Frack me.
That was a lot of fun. It's weird because I really admire the asexual representation stuff they do with Todd, but I don't give a shit about Todd.
Yeah,
which is weird. I love that angle of it, but like, to be fair, I fucking love rabies-infested dentist clowns. I do love that, but Todd is, in my opinion, the weakest character in the show because he is the one character who now feels like a caricature.
Yeah,
these characters are so well fleshed out, and I really love that aspect of Todd that they're delving into to where he is kind of like an asexual, and they're delving into asexual culture, and I really give them props for that. But Todd as a character just does not interest me.
Yeah, I will second that.
And I love how his friendship with Bojack has not been magically repaired.
That's great.
They kind of are at a point where they're like they're not like enemies, and you get the sense that they kind of like feel bad that they can't be friends anymore.
They're not friends, they're not friends.
Yeah, and I like that it didn't just magically wrap.
Yeah, I like it's happy and like it's okay, Bojack. I forgive you. Like no, it's like it's like real life. Like
and I really admire that. But like I don't. To me, Todd is the weak link.
Yeah, I don't want to watch a whole Todd episode.
Anytime his wacky shenanigans come up, I really enjoyed them for the first couple seasons. At this point, I think it's beginning to wear.
Episode 4 was probably my. I will say this, episode 4 of the season was one of my lesser favorites.
What was episode?
The Todd,
4?
the where more Todd's doing errands. He's like going around, like running around, like doing all stuff for people. Like
I love the Courtney Portnoy puns though.
That's true. That was funny.
The fact that this character exists so that they can make weird rhyme puns with is that resonates. With
The episode 12 of the season, which is the final season finale, with I will say,
hey, 8 polygamous gay dads.
That's great.
Great concept.
And they have a secret language, the secret old English language.
They have a secret dad language.
Gotta get it. But I will say this, and one thing I will say about Bojack is, one thing I love about Bojack is that it knows how to do a good season. It knows how to do season finales.
Yeah. Logan did not like the ending.
I love the ending. I thought it was.
I really liked the ending.
The entire episode. I will say this. Look, nothing's gonna beat, in my opinion. Nothing can beat at this point. I don't think the season 3 finale.
Yeah. And also, I think the
season 1 finale, which I think is underrated.
I think episode 11 of season 1 should have been the season ender.
That's actually, you know what? I think that would have been a really good way to end the season. I agree.
I've said this before. I think a downer ending could have ended the show, and I don't know. Satisfied.
See, I don't know how.
I'm glad it didn't, because I like that it continues. But I think specifically the final scene of season 1 in isolation could have ended the show for me. I'm glad that it didn't, because I love where they've gone. But
I understand why you think that, though.
Bojack having a breakdown, and then like after this acid trip where he realizes that like his life could have been so much more, and it wasn't, and like you hear the sounds that his daughter made, like, and then it just cuts to a guy going, "Aren't you the horse? Aren't you the horse from Horsing Around?" To me, cut to credits. That I was like, at the very least, I'm upset that was not the season ender.
But I thought this season, the finale was a little bit too like it didn't feel big enough.
We'll get to that.
Oh, keep going.
But as I like, I'll touch on this before I get to the Horseman family stuff. But I am very intrigued because I'll touch on this more too. I get the feeling this is going to be a long episode.
It's fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay, because we have a lot to discuss.
I'm fine with that. Trust me.
This season ended shitty for everyone but Bojack.
That's true. And for the first time that we feel that.
Impressive. Right? I was really impressed by that. But what I really what's so fascinating is since Bojack is actually, even if he knows how much of a fuck up he is, and even if he like is afraid he's going to ruin everything, he's actively taking steps to fix his life, and he gets rewarded for that. Even if it's not perfect, even if it's not what he wanted, even if it's not as good as it could have been.
Right.
He gets rewarded.
It's true.
For being a good person.
It's the first time we see a smile on his face in the last episode.
What's great is Bojack, as culpable as he was for everything, these other characters have their flaws, and they can no longer use Bojack as a scapegoat.
They can't.
Because he was not the reason anything bad happened to them. They were all, Carolyn especially.
Oh, Carolyn.
But Diane and Peanut Butter's marriage falling apart.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where that goes.
Like, because like it was all built on like toxicity with the election.
Oh yeah,
like they were hate fucking. They were straight up hate fucking.
Literally in the fragment that it ends with them hate fucking.
Yeah, but
one of the more shocking scenes of the show. But yeah,
one of the best episode enders was Carolyn's episode where she like everything's going wrong for her, and it keeps cutting back to that future thing where it's like her granddaughter.
Yes,
talking about like
past.
And she has the ambulance. She's like, don't worry, it has a happy ending. And then the ending, it's Carolyn like, well, to make myself feel better, I always imagine my granddaughter talking about me to like a whole class, and it's all happy. And Bojack goes, but it isn't real. Ends. And you realize it was fake the whole time. It was Carolyn's imagination.
Right?
No,
it's so clever.
They set you up for a happy ending, and it doesn't fucking have a happy ending.
How clever is that, though?
Holy shit, what a kick in the nuts.
Right?
Such a... Not to sound like a masochist, but what a good kick in the nuts.
It was.
That stung.
Great backstory about like the cat immigrants too.
Yeah.
It's like they were singing the old song, meow meow.
Yeah.
Like,
and the fact that Carolyn's whole character is self-determination and bites her in the ass because she can't ask anyone for help.
They touch on miscarriages too. Which that was the problem.
That was
5 miscarriages. Like
holy shit.
That was dark, but like keep going.
And like the racism with the mouse family.
Yeah, that was crazy too.
And what I really like is Carolyn's boyfriend was not at fault by the end.
No, it's not like Rutabaga.
At the end, he stood up for her. Like, he realized what he was doing was wrong, and he stood up for her. And he was not at fault when the marriage fell apart. And even then, as she was ruining the marriage, he was desperately trying to save it. He was like, well, just, you know, like, we can work this out. And, like, she just pushed him away. And I, like, good. Someone other than Bojack is getting their whole life ruined.
Yeah.
Because Bojack is such a punching bag.
He is.
And even then, even in this season, his relationship with Hollyhock is almost ruined for factors that were not his fault.
Right.
It was his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it wasn't even his mother's fault because she was trying to help Hollyhock because she thought she was genuinely helping her by making her fucking take amphetamines.
Yeah.
Because that's how fucked up she is. And she's fucking, has dementia.
Yeah. Henrietta was the
twist with Henrietta
was amazing.
Oh my god.
I want to say right now, it is one of the most I can't we can't
we'll delve
into it soon. I'm eager to get into episode 11. Let's keep going.
Episode 2 and 11 are like linked so heavily. So we'll talk about both of those.
Oh, episode 2 made me cry.
Not
even joking.
So if it weren't for the Bojack family stuff, this season would have been like, well, it was good, but I wouldn't rank it as high.
It would have been it would have been like the lesser season of the 4.
It would have been better than 1, but like not as high as 2 or 3.
Yeah. The
Bojack family drama, in particular, the stuff with his parents.
Oh god.
Makes this season.
It
is some of the most powerful stuff I've seen in a television show.
The scene with Butterscotch going into Beatrice and begging her for like her help with Henrietta.
I mean, we're even then that's jumping ahead because to start off, episode 2 starts off with we know how fucked up Bojack's parents were. We've seen how horrible and abusive they were. Also, Bojack's dad turning out to be a shitty beatnik was really funny. But not even then that's jumping ahead.
Yeah,
but,
let's start episode 2.
It starts off with a perfect 1940s nuclear family straight out of Leave It to Beaver, and it savagely rips into that idea. Yeah. In particular, I think Joseph Sugarman is one of the most vile characters on the show.
Oh, he is.
Beatrice's dad. And what's so great about him is he is not intentionally. He's just a regular dad
from the
1950s, and it is showing what a monster someone like that can be with a modern perspective.
Oh yeah.
He's I forget what Kennedy's father was named. Was it Robert Kennedy?
Was it Joseph Kennedy?
Joseph, maybe? Which, that would be funny.
No, Robert Kennedy's his brother.
Okay. But I think this was very Kennedy-inspired, with Kennedy's daughter having a lobotomy.
Yeah.
The mother getting a lobotomy.
Let's get ahead of the episode.
Yeah. But first off, the whole death with the son and delving into that and how
that's one of the best lines of the season, which is it wasn't Joseph's fault. I mean, if anything, it's Judas' fault. Repeating up Hitler so bad. Which was both great and
showing how hypocritical things of the time can be, and it wasn't as idealistic as it's built up to be. But also do the responsible thing. Have one more beer and then drive home with your daughter.
Okay, so the episode basically we find out the nuclear family. She has a brother. He gets killed. He's a soldier in World War II. It starts off being great. Then he dies, and the mom starts.
The family collapses. The mother
has a breakdown. There's a character named Eddie Fawley. There's a character. So her mom goes crazy into the party. The scene with the party with where she does them with a car. Yeah. And then she comes home. The dad, Joseph Sugarman, is pissed off with the mom.
And you know what's scary too? You could think that's just him being cruel, getting her a lobotomy, but if you put it in the time frame, people did not realize how fucked up lobotomies were. They didn't get the science behind it.
So
and we assume that the mother was okay with it because she asks him to help her. Considering how many misconceptions there were about lobotomies.
Let me explain the context. So then basically, after the thing at the party happens,
Lewis, you're talking too fast.
Sorry. After the thing at the party happens, there's a scene with. The Joseph Sugarman basically has the wife get a lobotomy because the wife thinks she needs help because of how
she needs therapy and she gets a lobotomy.
So then to get a lobotomy, they keep going.
So yeah, the mother getting a lobotomy destroys any semblance of familial connection and understanding they could have had. Also, the line "Why I have half a mind" and she doesn't continue it. Yeah, I really like that. Holy shit, that was just horrifying and heartbreaking.
Oh yeah, Beatrice is up to the moment what's happening.
Crying, and then she The mother tells her not to love anyone as much as she loved her son.
Right.
What's so brilliant is this is establishing the vicious cycle of familial abuse and the traumas of the parents being passed on to the child. So when we get to that with Bojack, I'm going to really delve into that. But how far are we into this?
We're like
40 minutes in. This is gonna end up being like a 3-hour podcast.
That is fine. We'll go as long as we can. They'll sit through this.
But what was I saying? But yeah, so her rebelling against her father by marrying a deadbeat, and their life falling apart when they have the kid, and Bojack's parents taking out their frustrations on Bojack and whatnot, and that whole thing. So finally, Bojack's mother gets dementia. Right. She doesn't even know who he is, and the one instance they say fuck this season is very, very different than how it's ever been done, because it is always done by a character who Bojack has ruined his relationship with. Yes. He has irreparably ruined his relationship with. It was done with I can't remember the guy's name, but his partner on Horsing Around, the showrunner.
Yeah, that guy.
The elk.
Yeah.
Like, if you come near my daughter again, I'll fucking kill you. And Todd.
It was like, fuck, man. That was the best use of the word, my friend.
Bojack's plan was to finally get... His mother is weak. She's basically just having a slow, horrible death where her mind collapses. And Bojack says when she finally is able to recognize him, he's going to say, fuck you, Mom. Right. And that is his way of destroying the relationship they had, which it was a terrible relationship. She was an awful mother. She ruined this guy. And like Todd said, a lot of it is on him. But you can't deny the impact the abuse from his parents had on him. They made him into this. And he had planned on finally just ending everything with his mother when she was about to die. So we finally get to that moment where, after an episode where she, at the time, this is once again Bojack spoilers, he thinks Hollyhock is his daughter, and she ruins any chance he has of having a relationship with his daughter. Right. So he wants her thrown in the shittiest, worst retirement home possible where she can just rot away. And we see this amazing flashback that's told through her dementia. So things are blurred. There's one thing where he's like, I haven't even taken my coat off yet, and his coat appears on him. The family photo keeps changing. The best detail, you can't see Henrietta's face.
Okay, now we're on episode 11 now.
Yes.
So we're revealed to Henrietta, and her face.
Henrietta was a running joke that she keeps mistaking Bojack for a maid named Henrietta. It turns out Henrietta was the family maid.
Yeah, and she
Bojack's father had an affair with.
Yeah, we find out in episode 11, which is probably my favorite scene in the episode, where he comes in, revealed that he got the hell pregnant, and basically begs Beatrice for
What I really like, too, the detail that they both feel bad for her.
They do.
They could have easily written that off, but as just, oh, fuck it, just get this bitch off my back, fuck it, just abort the baby. But it really humanized how much horrible shit these characters went through. They're not monsters. They're terrible people, but they're not monsters.
She thinks she's helping Henrietta by not letting her hold a baby and shit.
And in the end, she kind of did help her.
She did, yeah.
Hollyhock had a great life. She got to be away from the family poison that was the Horseman Sugarman family. She was raised by loving, caring parents. Henrietta got to go to college.
Yeah.
They paid for her tuition. Humanizing Bojack's monster parents was such a amazing, bold move. So finally we get to the end where, which first off, that scene where Beatrice breaks down in front of Henrietta is like, you don't want this. I did this. Don't let this ruin your life. Just amazing. And then when it juxtaposes Joseph Sugarman burning all of Beatrice's possessions.
Yeah.
The doll, the baby.
My baby.
And them taking away Henrietta's baby. And it shows Beatrice becoming her father, kind of.
Yeah.
Amazing. Also, the detail of Beatrice's mother constantly being in shadow, except for the lobotomy scar.
Yeah.
It's also chilling.
You don't want to have a mother, do you?
Yeah.
The shadow.
Not my baby. No, especially your baby.
I will say his voice is so great. I will say that.
Especially your baby.
Yeah.
But Yeah, but it gets to the end where she finally recognizes Bojack, and she's like, "Where am I?" And he's not able to ruin
Bojack. She just says his name all of a sudden. She realizes
it's not out of. And here's what's brilliant about that, where he goes through this whole thing where she's already like at the lowest she can possibly be.
Exactly.
It would be so much of us just reaffirming what garbage Bojack would be. I think if he had done what he wanted to do with his mother, especially at that point, it was too late.
Right.
And he would be no better.
Of course. Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's a safe battery power.
Okay.
Keep going.
That's not going to affect the video, right?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's just a screen display.
Okay.
Use less energy.
So she, like, it was too late.
Yeah.
He missed his opportunity. And not only does he realize that, but he goes to this ailing woman who has been a monster to him his whole life.
Right.
She has turned him into a poisonous, broken person. He has no reason. He has, he didn't have to be like a monster to her. He had no reason to be genuinely kind to her.
Right.
And the fact that he sits down and he says, "Oh, we're in Michigan and the whole family's here. And the one that got me, your brother is here."
Right.
And the fact that he displays genuine kindness purely because he could empathize with her. Not for any... I don't even think he wanted to.
No, he didn't.
It was just like, because it was the right thing to do. What a monumental step for this character.
Mm-hmm.
And he is rewarded for it.
Yeah.
After his relationship with Hollyhock is ruined, and she's not his daughter, he finds out it's his sister, and she's willing to have a positive relationship with him. She says, I already have fathers, but I've never had a brother. It ends with him smiling.
It's the first time we've ever seen that. Every time he's either confused or sad.
Bojack becomes a better person. He takes steps to become a better person, and he is rewarded for it. It is not a needless... That, to me, shows that this is not a needless kick-the-dog story that just wants to be depressing to manipulate the viewers.
Oh, of course.
This is a show that cares about its characters and wants them to be better. And it's like real life. Sometimes they fail. But Bojack gets rewarded for being a genuinely good person when he did not need to be.
Right.
And if this was the old Bojack, this would have never happened.
Oh, of course.
Honestly, you can argue it shouldn't have happened. The fact that it did is such a monumental step for this character. And I'm so floored by episode 11 in particular.
Yeah.
But he broke the cycle.
He did.
He broke the Horseman family cycle. He basically redeemed the whole family. And he's afraid of passing on the poison to a daughter. He broke the cycle. So that, to me, was just like, what a amazing step for this character and for this show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the reason why I think there can't be another season after season 5.
I agree.
Or at least there shouldn't be, because Bojack is on the road to improvement.
Right.
And even if he'll never be a good person, he's at least like he wants to be.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to get in there.
Yeah. What I should say is he'll never be a happy person.
Yeah.
He'll never be a repaired person.
No.
He'll never be able to really, truly recover from the traumas he's faced and the traumas he's caused. But I think by the end, he'll be a good person.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is just the most I could hope for out of this character. And I'm really, really pleased to see that the show is not just needlessly kicking him while he's down.
Yeah, this tone could easily go horribly wrong and just be like a depressing show for the sake of being depressing.
And the fact, this to me proved that it's not just a needlessly depressing show.
No.
The way that I've seen a few critics criticize it for just being like overly cruel to its characters. And this to me proved that this show cares about its characters, and it's not a lazy, dumb, cheap, emotionally manipulative show. It's genuine. To to me, that goes a long, long way.
Not since Moral Laurel Season 3 have I seen a show, like, master that so perfectly. And to be fair, like, Moral Laurel Season 3 was a show that was way more, like, I will say, critically wise, much more, like, a little bit, as dark as it was almost a little bit too dark. Like, they were, like, I'm good. Sure, why not? Okay. That show got way too, like, kicking this 12-year-old while he's down, kind of. And to be fair, that's why Season 3, not to get off top of him, is trying to, like, that's why that show worked, but, like, this show, I think mastered it, animation and drama so perfectly, and I'm so impressed to finally see a show like BoJack that masters it as well, actually even better than that. I never thought I'd see that. I never think I'd see that, really, and I'm glad it is. And that's why I'm worried if going into Season 6, if they do go past Season 5, I worry it's going to become just like, it's going to become overkill eventually. And it's going to become just BoJack becoming, now it's the table of term, BoJack's the guy being kicked, he was trying to be good, being kicked down by shitty people around him. I don't know that, but I feel like it's going to, if it goes past Season 5 or Season 6.
We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, again, like you said, it's all about execution.
Yeah.
I think Raphael Bob Waxford, is a genius at this point, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm just looking forward to Season 5 when it finally comes out next year. But yeah.
I think from here, we'll segue, because there are 3 major topics I still want to talk about.
Bottom line, go watch Bojack Horseman. Where do you want to go to next? Let's segue to...
Let's do Rick and Morty next.
Let's do Rick and Morty, the second best animated show on TV right now.
Because I'm most excited to talk about it and Sonic Mania.
Yes, we are.
And I want to save those for last, because those are the ones I'm most excited about. So we'll talk about Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
It was really curious, because I was...
Before we get into Rick and Morty, can I get one more water?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hold on.
So yeah, Bojack Horseman's best animated show, Rick and Morty, a close second. A little bit of a different show, might I add, for those who haven't seen it, but almost very close. Rick and Morty's a little more sitcom and a little more less serialized, but I think equally as charmingly written, equally as and even 10 has its very dark moments, and they're actually very similar shows in their own right. So I think it's a very good segue to get into that. Rick and Morty Season 3. The best season so far, might I add. The first season, might I add, with a gender-balanced writer's room. Just going to put that out there. Shout out to Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland.
Yeah, I was really...
Now you're back.
I've been impressed with this season.
All right, so let's get into what you want to talk about here.
One thing can I say about Rick and Morty?
Please do.
This is not any way me judging the show at all.
Go ahead, please.
And there are many fandoms of series that I like that I don't like the fandom. I have recently begun to fucking hate the Rick and Morty fandom.
Yeah.
And I adore the show.
The fan base, though.
The fan base is one of the most obnoxious. It is not even...
Pickle Rick!
It's not even like referential humor. It's just referential. Anywhere you go, it's just Pickle Rick, this. And what scares me, I've seen someone comment on it, like, what scares me are the people... It is okay to relate to this show, this show's characters, because they're meant to be reflections of human flaws.
Exactly.
But when people start seeing Rick as something to idolize and something as like a character to be like loved and to be like the guy to root for, I do not like that, because Rick is a brilliant example of a villain protagonist.
Right.
He is even if there are redeeming qualities to him, he is a toxic, disgusting sociopath.
Of course.
And he's a great character.
Oh, yeah.
He's a fantastic character. But I am really disgusted by the amount of, like, particularly, like, right-wing male fans who, like, idolize Rick and, like, his nihilistic worldview.
Not surprising,
If you even look into anything regarding Roiland and Harmon, they do not intend Rick to be a character who's supposed to be worshipped.
Oh, God, no, yeah. Just look it up.
Especially
Dan Harmon.
Especially not Harmon.
Dan Harmon.
Especially not Harmon.
Just follow him on stuff. You know what we're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah. But I have begun to, and this is, like I said, I am not like one of those people who sees the fan base as a reflection of the show.
Of course.
But...
yeah, I mean...
just in recent days, as the show gets more popular, it's very much a South Park fan base. Yeah. And I have just begun to become very, very frustrated with...
like Doctor Who fans.
That's a whole different...
just keep going, keep going.
But, that's just my ranting about... just... What's so weird is Pickle Rick is one of the most infuriatingly annoying, like, memes anywhere I see him drawn. Like, my friend Jared posted a picture from one of his science classes, and on the whiteboard, it's just a drawing of Pickle Rick saying, "I'm Pickle Rick," and all, like, people were like, "Yeah!"
What's the joke, though?
And Jared just wrote, "Ugh."
What's the joke?
There is no joke.
To that meme.
It's for... And that's the whole point, because... The whole point of the joke is that it's not a joke and it's not funny.
That's
Rick
troll.
it. And the brilliant thing is Pickle Rick is an allegory
for
how poisonous and toxic
Rick is.
Rick is in his, and the whole thing with the Susan Sarandon therapist, she deconstructs that to all hell.
People. But
the fact that the Pickle Rick was an allegory was so great. But and that was my favorite episode of the season until we got to Tales of the Citadel.
Oh, boy.
That is my favorite episode of the series. And that's not even counting the ending, which we'll get to.
Oh, boy.
Because that ending and that character, which we'll delve into in a little bit,
of course,
I think is one of the best decisions the show has made in a long time.
Yeah.
And I hope they go the way I think they're going to go with it. Because it presents such an opportunity for this show that has not really been presented before. At least not since the Season 2 finale.
Oh, boy.
So, Tales from the Citadel is Stand By Me mixed with Brazil mixed with Training Day.
You can't go wrong with that combination, especially Brazil.
Which, yeah, it's
one of my favorite movies, by the way.
The fact that it features some of the most poignant social commentary I have seen in a show in a long time, and that's in this political climate.
Yep.
Super poignant. And the fact that everyone is voiced by Justin Roiland. Because they're all Ricks and Mortys. They're all Ricks and Mortys.
They are.
So, with the exception of the Simple Ricks narrator, who is Jeff Davis.
Jeff Davis, my man.
But just that whole episode, it's Mortys killing Mortys. Rick's killing Mortys. That whole thing. Shout out to this underappreciated line. I wish incest porn had a more mainstream appeal.
Pretty much.
That whole episode was great. Come home to the sweet taste of shattering the grand illusion. Come home to Simple Ricks.
I also want to point out the season had logic in it.
Yes, yeah, logic.
Who raps about Noob Noob, who's my new, which I am now in a group chat called We the Gays are in favor of Noob Noob. So just to show how big that's gotten.
So let's get to the ending.
Let's get to the ending, please.
First off, I was the one idiot who didn't see the Evil Morty thing coming until because I was so captivated by the social commentary. I thought this was going to be like a Martin Luther King angle. Like he was the guy who like he was too good to live. He couldn't live in a political climate this corrupt and racist. And so when the shit starts coming out on him, I thought like, oh well, maybe the government's having the campaign manager assassinate him. So because I was that captivated in the political thing.
Yeah, of course.
And so we continue, and like he's in the boardroom meeting, and I thought, oh wait, maybe he's a corporate puppet, so it's deconstructing how like everything, meet the old boss, same as the new boss. Yeah. And then that music starts playing.
Oh, yeah.
That was when I realized it, and I think that is the best way to experience the twist. Because I saw, like, so many reactions where they were, like, almost like a lazy prediction.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's Evil Morty, because, like, people wank off the fucking continuity to the show. Which, credit where credit is due. It is a competent continuity show, but people overstate it too much. Like, I think this Rick does this thing, and it's connected to this. And I'm like, it's a fucking comedy show. The creators
is not thinking that. Trust me.
The creators have stated on multiple occasions, you guys put like too much stock in this.
Yeah, like it's still like a comedy show.
And here is the biggest example. Evil Morty was supposed to be a one-off character.
Right.
He was supposed to be a neat little twist at the end of that Evil Rick episode where like it's like, oh shit, it was the Morty the whole time. What a twist. And so when people were like, oh, I can't wait for this guy to show up in season 2, and the creators were like, about that. So they had not intended this character to come back. Which is why I was so hesitant to be like, is this the evil Morty?
This isn't One Piece, guys.
Yeah, this isn't like...
this isn't Bojack.
This isn't Laboon the Whale becomes important after 300 chapters.
Yeah, no, this is Rick and Morty.
But the fact that I forgot about the character made it that much better. And I think I credit Bojack for one of the things... Bojack and Rick and Morty have done it recently. One of my favorite things that any show does is when they... why is that thing blinking?
That's my camera.
No live thing. Does that always do that?
That's weird. That's just my cam. I think it's my camera is like for the. I just show my cameras on. I think.
Okay.
You know, you can have the camera that goes like on.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I'm gonna assume it is.
Okay.
Keep going.
So, I assume if we weren't live, it would say like offline.
Oh yeah, I mean it would say on there if we weren't live.
Okay. Okay. So one of my favorite things that shows do.
Yeah.
Is playing a song that carries into the credits.
Yes.
It plays during the final scene and it carries into the credits.
Love that.
Futurama was the first one I saw that did that.
Mm-hmm.
Did they do it in The Simpsons?
Yeah, they have.
Okay.
They did. You did like
because I specifically remember them doing it in Futurama.
They definitely did in The Simpsons. Yeah, The Simpsons like really started that.
It might just be because like Futurama had the best example of it.
Yeah.
Which was the dog.
Yep. I'll wait for you.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty, that's just Futurama for kids who never touch a titty.
Yeah.
I keep going though. I love that meme.
But Bojack Horseman and Rick and Morty have been the recent kings of that. And for a good while, my favorite, which I believe it was your favorite too, was Stars by Nina Simone in the season 3 finale.
Yeah.
To me, that was the best.
I talk about it all the time.
Best example of that.
Perfect song, perfect execution.
Yeah, the build, the way it fizzles out in the credits, everything about it was flawless.
The timing was brilliant.
And this one that they did in Tales of the Citadel is, in my opinion, the new best because it explains so much and it connects everything just with a song. Not even the dialogue needed. Like, the big reveal is when the papers fly out and you see the eye patch.
Yeah.
But the fact that you as soon as the song comes on, you immediately know, oh, fuck, it's this guy!
It's this asshole again.
My jaw dropped when that happened.
A little off the top.
So, it's time for a cold, calculated speech with sinister overtones. But just as soon as that piano kicked in, everything clicked. And so brilliant that happened. But here is what I love about this character and what I think they're going to do with him. Right off the bat, I'm going to get to what the worst thing they could do with him is.
Go ahead.
The worst thing they could do with him is he's a Rick in a Morty's body.
Oh, yeah.
If he is a Rick, ruins everything, in my opinion.
I agree.
I don't think they're going to do that because these writers are competent.
Yes, they are.
Now, we'll get to another thing that could ruin it. But what's so brilliant about this character, the President Morty, is, you know, this kind of goes back to Rick being that kind of, like, the character who should not be worshipped, yet is anyway. And that's kind of in-universe to a degree as well. He is the problem solver. Season 3 starts with him, that big emotional payoff in Season 2.
Yeah.
Which, that's another thing I think could have ended the show. With him going to Galactic Prison to save
To end the whole show?
Yeah.
See, I actually agree. I don't know, I agree on that.
I think that would have been a good show ending if it ended like that. It would have been fucked up, but like I would have been satisfied because it develops Rick as a character,
exactly,
and it redeems him to
very similar to like.
And Season 3 immediately begins with shitting in the face of that.
Oh yeah,
which to a degree I liked, but
yeah, the first episode of the season was like.
But also it kind of I think that is the point of it. It's supposed to shit on it. And make you see, no, Rick is not a good person. He's a piece of shit. He is not altruistic. He's a monster. He has redeeming factors. He has human factors. But, nah, he's a bastard. And he did all of this for selfish reasons.
Right.
So and this season in particular has really been vicious with how it is looking at Rick.
Yeah, I will say that they've really
ways that have been very different. Season 2 was very kind to Rick.
Season 2 made him look more. Season 1 and 2 make him look. It's more just a wacky uncle kind of.
Season 3 not necessarily. He was still always a manipulative bastard.
Yeah, but season 1 especially. Yeah, but it's done in a way that's much more like
vicious.
Yeah,
with, like really looking into what a monster this guy is, and like how, especially the recent episode with him fucking with Morty's memories.
Oh, that was yeah.
Like what a bastard! And I think Evil Morty is such a brilliant character because you have all this build up with the Ricks being like the top dog in every multiverse. To the point that they make a Citadel. And one of the brilliant things about the Citadel, too, is we have so much focus on how our Rick is the Rickest Rick.
Right.
So there are other Ricks with no drive, so they can be taken advantage of and made to be, like, low-life workmen.
Yeah.
And you have all these Mortys as well. The fact that it is the one who beat all the Ricks, the one who is now at all of his master plans are coming together, center stage, is a Morty. He has outsmarted all of the Ricks.
That's huge for so many reasons. I mean, it's brilliant. And finally,
brilliant.
Morty's on top now, finally.
It's a Morty. Why is your phone...
That's fucking Ryan Schneider. He's talking about... Shout out to Ryan Schneider, and he wants me to review a new album, I think.
Okay.
Just ignore it, it's fine.
Yeah. So,
can we talk about...
fact that it's a Morty is so great.
Can we talk about Beth this season?
Beth.
I feel like Beth
has been such a great character.
They really stepped her up, and I'm glad.
Really, I've liked what they did with Summer in season 2 as well, and I like what they're doing with her here. I think that's thanks to the female writing staff this season.
This season, it's worth on this season.
But really focusing on how toxic Beth's relationship
is with her father,
with her kids, and how much her father fucked her up,
and how much she's like Rick's manipulating her.
Yeah,
and really, she just wants something more to have a relationship finally, but the expense of her family. Jerry, it's literally what Jerry said in this last episode. Like, no matter what Rick does,
we'll get to what I hope is happening with Jerry.
Oh, let's do.
But here, you have all this setup for Evil Morty, which one thing I'm wondering now that he's being set up as the what I think next episode is apparently going to be all Rick and Beth based. I think the season finale is going to be delving more into either the Galactic Federation remnants or Evil Morty's Citadel.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to save him for next season. I could see them doing that. But I really am curious. I think it is going to be a three-way war between the Galactic Federation remnants with Phoenix Person and Tammy.
Phoenix Person.
President Morty and the new Citadel, which I think it's going to be like now Mortys are at the top of society.
Oh, that'd be a really good that would be great.
And our Rick and Morty. And here, you can do a lot of things with this Evil Morty. And especially if you read into his dialogue through Evil Rick, because it was him controlling him. Evil Morty fucking hates Ricks.
He does.
He
kills them.
This is a Morty who has been pushed too far by Ricks from what it's being built up as. And I think that's similar to what's happening to our Morty, because he's becoming more and more estranged from Rick, despite the fact that he keeps going on.
He's getting done with his shit.
He's becoming more independent. He's becoming angrier. He's becoming more rebellious.
Episode 4 with the where he does like with Logic, the new Doom episode where they go like you can just see it, like he's just mailing the bomb. He's been Judas so many times.
Yeah,
he just can't take. He's just done. He's so apathetic when they're getting arrested.
Yeah,
and I love how we're finally seeing Morty getting pushed to his limits this season. I think it's further being the whole thing with Morty on top is symbolic, obviously. And
so with this Evil Morty, I can't really say for sure, but I think it's definitely going to delve into the relationship between our Rick and Morty, and it's going to really, really be like vicious in that as well.
Yeah,
it's going to really tear apart how toxic and disgusting and manipulative the relationship is, and it's probably not going to be fixed because that's the point of the show.
Yeah,
but and it's different from Bojack in that way because this is a more comedy-based show. But here's what I will say: the Evil Morty plotline can go a lot of ways, and it has to end with him being beaten. because it's a fucking show.
Yeah, of course.
It cannot end with Rick beating him.
No,
it cannot end with Rick.
It can't be Rick.
It cannot be Rick. The only way it can be Rick is if there is a tremendous emotional breakthrough. But if Rick beats him the way he solved everything in episode 1 of season 3, I will stop watching the show. Period. I will not watch the show anymore. That would be terrible writing, and I don't think that's going to happen.
I think it should be best.
What I think it's going to be, it's going to go a couple ways. It will either be Morty, who does it, which Morty's surpassing Rick as well, and maybe delving into how Morty's have the potential to surpass Rick. Or the family.
Yeah.
The family could beat him as well, but in particular, I fucking hope it's Jerry.
That'd be great.
The most pathetic being. They build up Jerry is the most pathetic being in the multiverse. To the point that, like, he's not even a thought for the Council of Ricks. Like, well, the Illuminati Ricks. Yeah. Like, it could be a Rick, a Morty, even a goddamn Jerry. Like, he's an afterthought. This Morty has beaten all of the Ricks. If it was a fucking Jerry who takes him down,
that would be the biggest fuck you.
Oh my god, that would be brilliant.
That would be a Jerry.
If it is fucking Jerry.
I'm just spamming toilet paper.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the Rick and Jerry episode? He's like, Rick and Jerry. It starts off like the first episode, like, Rick and Jerry episode.
What did you think I was bringing here? Yeah, here for an execution.
Oh, damn. Jerry is a piece of toad. Who got that terrible idea? We're talking about Jerry Smith. What? Jerry is just like the most pathetic, sanguine human being on the show.
Yeah, so I
have to make
part of me, like, I would be okay if it wasn't him, but I really do hope it is Jerry that beats you.
I would go to Jane Harmon's house and French kiss him just for that. That'd be amazing.
I would recommend not doing that. I don't think he would be appreciative.
He'd probably kill me.
But
Sumo.
That wraps up what I wanted to say about Rick and Morty.
Great show. Go watch it.
Yeah, very good show.
Go watch both of those.
Terrible fan base, but great show. Run by great people.
Listen to Justin Rollins' podcast. Great stuff.
Yeah.
But on to the next topic.
Let's talk about It.
Can we please? All right.
So we'll save Sonic Mania for last.
Agreed. It. So, what do you want to get into? What about It do you want to talk about first?
So let's start off with it's going to be hard to kind of.
Let's save Cary Fukunaga for a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll save Fukunaga's.
We have some beef. I got some beef about that.
We'll start off with talking about my experience with the 90s show, my thoughts on horror as a medium in general now.
Oh, please, let's do it. I'm
excited. And the advertising for this movie.
Ooh, the advertising. All right, let's go.
So, I watched the miniseries when I was pretty young, actually. I was in, not super young, but I was in middle school when I saw it. And my first experience with it was when I was maybe like 5 or 6. My great-grandma, who was a huge fan of horror and Stephen King in general, I remember going into her apartment because she lived in the basement of my grandma's house, and she had It on the television, the miniseries. And I distinctly remember the scene in the miniseries where everyone's in the sewer, and the clown is pulling the bullies through the pipe.
Right.
And I always remember thinking of that and being like, wow, that looks really scary. I don't want to watch that because I was like 5. So years later, I see the thing.
Oh, record. I keep going. Sorry, I saw my computer.
Yeah, I see the thing with It, the miniseries. I'm like, holy shit, this is that clown thing that I saw years ago that my great grandma had on. And so I watched it, and I didn't know what to think of it. I was like, well, it's interesting just to get closure, but as time has gone on, I've formed a solid opinion of the miniseries. The first half has its flaws, undeniably.
Right.
But I think it is... it's endearing. Flawed as it is, it's endearing. It's not perfect by any means. The second half is abysmal. It is a train wreck. It is not enjoyable in the slightest.
It ruins the whole thing.
But nobody cares about the miniseries for anything other than Tim Curry as Pennywise.
That opening scene.
Tim Curry is legendary as Pennywise, and for none of the reasons that people talk about.
Right.
Because people, It was one of the earliest scary clown horror things. And Tim Curry is, you have to keep in mind when the miniseries was made. It was made in the 90s as a television series.
On ABC.
Yeah. So this is before television dramas were really on the level that they are today. Like now they can go toe-to-toe with film, but before, TV was really not a medium that was utilized as well.
And this is one of the earliest times we're seeing cinematic, quality, filmmaking on a TV show, and it was trying to be like a movie. It was trying to rival that.
And we didn't. I mean, it technically is a movie to a degree. It's a 4-hour movie.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like on TV, like a TV, like a network television.
So it is. It's very clumsy. It's very sloppy. It's very, especially based on the source material.
It's meant to be
talk about.
Network.
We'll talk about the source material.
I have not read the books. I'm pretty curious. Yeah.
What everyone remembers is Pennywise, Tim Curry's performance, and every fucking article you click on about is like Tim Curry's legendary, bone-chilling performance as Pennywise. Tim Curry is not fucking scary. He is fucking hilarious, and he chews the scenery. He is a joy to watch.
In anything he is
amazing.
In everything he does,
he's not scary in the fucking slightest. He is. Oh yes, Georgie, they float. They float. Hi, Georgie, I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown. Ah, he just fucking arm. He is amazing. He's the only reason why that miniseries is fun.
Agreed.
And
I don't remember anyone else but him.
No one does. The whole miniseries is fucking garbage, except for fucking Tim Curry.
So now we get to Bill Skarsgård in the movie.
Well, even then we're skipping ahead too much.
All right.
So. After I saw the miniseries, I looked up stuff on the book, and I've never read the book the full way through. I know a lot about it because I've read a lot of summaries. I've read synopsises of chapters. I listened to a lot of the audiobook as well.
Okay.
So I did listen to segments of it, namely the segments that I thought that were the most interesting. So very little of the stuff with like the weird like bullies giving each other hand jobs and like the weird sexual shit that goes on a lot through the book. Or any of there's a lot of stuff in the book that feels very filler-ish as well. I mean, the book is like 1,100 pages. It is fucking gargantuan. And what it is a hodgepodge of ideas that Stephen King had. I don't know if he was on drugs when he wrote it. He might have been. But, it is, from everything I've heard, and what Red Letter Media has said about it as well, which was what I thought about it before, and hearing them say it reaffirmed it. It is a mix of pure genius for better or worse. So you will have the aspects of genius with like, oh my god, this is amazing. Who could have thought of something this iconic and memorable and impactful? And other genius where like, you get the mad genius of Stephen King, to where this guy is like a genius, but not in always good ways, like the weird parts of like being a genius. So you have all the weird shit that doesn't land.
Yeah.
And do you know about the sewer orgy?
I know a little bit about. I've heard about that. Yeah.
Okay. The most infamous element of the book is at the end of the portion with the kids. It's a coming of age thing. The whole plot with the kids is coming of age, and the symbolic representation of them maturing into adulthood is them gangbanging Beverly in the sewer. And it is described in graphic detail.
Nice.
There is explicit descriptions of the fat kid's penis, and how he is exceptionally well hung, and how he gave her her first orgasm. And in the movie, they're like teenagers, which is already pretty weird, but I'm pretty sure they're like 12 in the book. Like, they're younger in the book than they are in the movie. So it's really fucking gross, and I read it and I'm like, how is Stephen King not in jail?
Yeah,
it's the mad, quirky genius where like he's so beyond it that like I don't think he realizes how fucked up it is.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit like...
It is uncomfortable and unpleasant to read.
It was in a bad way, right?
In a bad way. Yeah, it's not good.
All right, keep going.
It has a thematic purpose, but it's fucking disgusting.
All right, yeah. All right, keep going.
But the book adds a lot to the characters. It adds a lot to it as a character. And I will not be referring to him very much as Pennywise, because Pennywise is merely a form.
Yeah, he's taking form of the clown.
actual creature is it.
it.
So there's some brilliant shit. I mean, the idea of a clown living in the sewers and eating children is such a great idea for a horror.
It's a really scary idea.
And the fact that he, A, feeds on fear, and B, turns into children's fears is another great thing. Do you know the inspiration for it was the Three Billy Goats?
Really?
Stephen King wanted to write a modern-day version of the Three Billy Goats, where it was a troll living under a bridge, but it was an actual troll living under an actual bridge. And it steadily evolved into the idea of a clown living in the sewers. And it evolved into, you know, feeding on children's fears. It basically became a monster mash, where it turns into like Frankenstein's monster. It turns into the werewolf. It turns into the mummy. So it's kind of a send-up to a lot of the Universal horror films in some ways. And then there's also a lot of other, like, more feeding on visceral fears. Like, one of the kids gets eaten by leeches, stuff. There is a really frightening thing, but, like, it's directly inspired by a gay hate crime. Oh. Where what reawakens it is a gay hate crime. And, like, it's based on a real thing. I forget the guy's name, but he was, like, horribly killed by these teenagers in the 80s. Like, I think they, like, drowned him. And Stephen King said, like, he had never really... This is back in the 80s. So not everyone was well aware of LGBT stuff. And he said that crime was what awakened him to, like, how horrific it is. And that was the demonstration of it is a being of pure evil. It feeds on human misery, fear, and evil acts. And that is used as the thing that reawakens it. It's the embodiment of pure human evil. So... that's really delving into how powerful this book can be and how powerful a character it is on a sheer writing level. And I'll delve more into that as I talk about the movie.
Please do.
But it's a book with a lot of really great, poignant stuff in it. And then a lot of weird shit, like the Stephen King mythology with, like, the turtle god.
Yeah.
That's just fucking weird. Like, it doesn't gel with me at all. Like, God is like a turtle that pukes up universes, and his enemy is like an allegory for the devil, and he's like made of pure light.
Stephen King's very hit or miss.
The turtle chokes on a few galaxies, but there's like another god that guides them, and it's fucking weird.
He's very hit or miss.
Yeah,
gotta be careful with this man.
But it is a monumental work in a lot of ways, and I really do admire the book, despite a lot of the things that I don't like about it.
Yeah. I gotta read it. I've been meaning to read it for a while.
One day I will read through the whole thing.
Please do.
But now we get to the movie.
Which one?
The new one.
Okay. This
movie was in development hell for about 7 years.
The production started in 2009 with Cary Fukunaga. If you don't know,
Fukunaga wasn't even brought on immediately.
When was he brought on?
He was brought on around 2012.
Okay, so initially the movie was brought in.
They were just looking for a director for a while.
Yeah, we'll get into him. I'll talk about him a little bit because I love him. But keep going.
So, the movie goes through development with Cary Fukunaga.
If you don't know who that is, he's a director.
He directed season 1 of True Detective.
He also directed Beast of Donation on Netflix with Idris Elba. Highly recommend. Go watch it. Keep going. Almost died.
Yeah. So this movie was in development hell for a long time, and finally, they got Andy Muschietti.
Yeah, he directed.
I know his last name is Muschietti. He's the guy who did Mom.
Andre Muschietti. Yeah.
Okay.
What did he do again? What was the movie he did before this?
Is it Andre? I don't think it's
whatever his name is. It's Andy. He goes by.
I think and.
But what did he do before? He did another.
He did Mama.
Mama, which was
which is supposedly really good.
It's all right. Keep going.
Okay, but this movie steadily evolved into I don't know about you, but when I saw everything with this movie, I did not give a fuck.
Yeah, same. I did not.
First off, the clown shit in 2016 was just like, there was a lot of speculation it was an ant campaign.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it was.
I think that was the weird trend, the troll thing.
But anyway, the clown shit, and then this steadily became one of those very BuzzFeed-ified things. Like, this movie's gonna be scary good.
I did not care
Bill
about
Skarsgård's really hot when he's not dressed as a clown. I'm like, what a fucking surprise.
Yeah, I knew about the 90s shows. I was like why would I care about this? And it
steadily almost became like Suicide Squad-esque, where like all the kids cried when Bill Skarsgård came out dressed as the clown because he's so scary. Like, I got burned by this with fucking Jared Leto. I'm just like, I don't fucking care. Then the trailers came out, and I saw the look of Pennywise, and that was like, yep, I officially don't fucking care about this
it was not scary during the trailer.
Here's the thing. It's filmed like a stereotypical jump scare fest horror.
Oh, yeah.
The trailer. It's like, ah!
Yeah. Boy! Comes out the water. Oh, it's shaking around.
And the clown's design is fucking terrible.
It's bad.
Because the point of Pennywise is he is not a scary clown.
Even in the actual movie, it's bad.
That's the problem that a lot of horror fans even do not get about Pennywise. He's described in the book as looking like Bozo the Clown. He is a very friendly, kind of alluring clown. Like, he's not supposed to be scary until he's actively trying to scare the children. So the fact that he looks like a generic spoopy clown, I was just like, yep, okay,
well,
I don't fucking care. It's going to be another shitty horror
And then I looked
remake.
it up, and you find the history of it, and I'm like, when I saw that Cary Fukunaga had written the script initially,
so here's what happened.
Okay.
Cary Fukunaga, and we'll delve into what exactly Fukunaga's script entailed later. But Cary Fukunaga wrote the script, and it was going to be really weird and experimental, and the studio nixed it because they wanted to play it very safe, and they wanted it to be very accessible. They didn't want it to be as character-driven. They just wanted it to be very focused on scares.
Yeah, that
Fukunaga was very upset about it.
Yeah, and
when I read that, I'm like, yeah, okay, this movie's going to be fucking dog shit. So,
yeah, because it reminded me of, I know it's going to be Ant-Man all over again. With you know how this thing, Ant-Man.
I actually don't know about what
I'm going to very quickly, just again, this very quickly, of course. Edgar Wright wrote the initial, and his Brian Carter wrote the initial script for that movie. He was going to direct it. Joss Whedon called it the best Marvel script he's ever read in his life. He said it was amazing. Marvel fucked it up, and they brought in Peyton Reed and said it. He had a million rewrites. The movie was mediocre because of that. I thought, when I heard about this, with this movie, I thought it was going to be the same exact thing. Now you continue.
Yes, and that's what I thought as well. So, what studio made this? New Horizon?
I think it was New Horizon. Yeah.
I think it was New
Horizon. I think it was Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I think it was both.
All right, whatever. It was one of those two.
They accidentally hired a really talented and competent director.
Yeah,
when I don't think they meant to.
You go look him up. You'll see what we mean.
Andy Muschietti.
Oh, that too.
So eventually, what happens is the movie comes out, and I'm like, oh great, can't wait to hear about how dumb and shitty this movie was. And I read the reviews, and it's like, this is a movie with a lot of heart. It's a very smart movie.
Yeah.
It's very engaging. I'm like,
what? Yeah, like wait, what?
So it's a combination of shitty studio PR and terrible advertising. In my opinion. The advertising for this movie was fucking abysmal.
It's one of the worst.
And,
yeah, I will give you that.
It's not Suicide Squad levels, but it channeled the same vibe.
Yeah.
Which to me, Suicide Squad was the worst advertised movie of all time.
It was Hot Topic.
On a dignity level, I'm saying. Because the advertising worked great on a marketing level.
Oh, yeah.
On a sheer dignity level, it was despicable.
Yeah. I know fault of David Ayers, but yeah.
Yeah. But so I start hearing great shit about this movie. I'm like, I became morbidly curious because I'm like, now I don't know what to think about it. So I just, once again, I kind of went into the movie with no expectations.
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a chance. I'll see if I like it. I'm not expecting anything great, but I'm not, and this is before I even knew what was supposed to be in the Fukunaga script. So I didn't know what Fukunaga's script was like originally. So I went in with a clean slate, and I sat down and watched the movie once, and I fucking loved it. I fucking loved this movie.
It was a really good movie.
And
it was really good.
And then I went to see it a second time.
I didn't do that.
And I loved it less, but I caught a lot of things that made me appreciate it a lot, even more. I was able to catch more flaws and more things that didn't gel with me as well the second time, but I was also able to catch a lot of stuff that I think very much added to it. And my sum up of this movie, to put it very briefly before I really delve into it, it is a contemporary horror film, for better or worse, but it is a contemporary horror film done right.
Exactly.
It is a movie that is made with tremendous amounts of emotional care. Mm-hmm. It cares about its characters. It cares about its story. It cares about its plot. And well, I know story and plot are kind of the same. It is a movie that is extremely passionate about what it's doing.
They gave a shit.
It's a movie that's made by a guy who gave a shit.
Like, this movie is shot amazingly. It's written.
It's shot by the dude who worked on fucking Old Boy. Which, holy shit. I think he was the cinematographer for Old Boy.
Yeah.
Which, damn, they got a fucking...
You won the lottery on that one.
Yeah.
This movie looks gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was, I mean, I loved it.
Really well shot.
This movie was, it's probably one of the best horror films I've seen.
One thing that I really gotta credit them for, that I saw it in the trailers and I thought I was gonna fucking hate it, but the effect that they give for Pennywise whenever he rushes his victims.
Yes!
It focuses on his face, but everything else gets warbly.
Wobbly, yeah.
Fucking
that was
excellent.
It really
looks terrible in the trailers. Works fucking great in the movie.
Screen.
And in a little bit I'm gonna address some criticisms for the movie by other people that I actually liked, that I thought were actually good aspects of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So before anything else, the casting director of this movie needs a fucking promotion. This movie has one of the most perfect casts I've seen in a movie in a long time. And when I say perfect, I don't even mean like, oh, these characters were good. These characters were fucking
the casting
perfect.
Was really good.
The casting was spot on for every major character.
Bill Skarsgård.
Every major character. And one thing that I was not expecting was Bill Skarsgård was fucking...
He was great.
He was fucking phenomenal.
Everything is perfect.
And he struck such a great balance between... Because one thing I was afraid of was they were going to do the dumb fucking... The clown is spooky route.
Mm-hmm.
And the clown is fucking scary when he wants to be. But he has this disconcerting, almost childlike demeanor, especially in the scene with Georgie, because what I was afraid of was... And they do handle it a little differently than the book. It's more constructed around unease than it is around a friendly clown luring a child into a suit.
Yeah, it's a little more uncomfortable.
So it's very disconcerting, but even then, he treads the line in a way where Georgie kind of lets down his guard before kind of becoming freaked out again. And that, to me, is so deft. Where he can come in, he's like, oh, the circus and the popcorn, and like the way he talks is so, it's so fascinating. It is both terrifying and like kind of not in the same way. Like, you almost forget how scary he is at times when he's not trying to be scary. And one thing that's really cool is that Bill Skarsgård can naturally make his eyes separate.
Really?
Go in separate directions. So when he does that, that's all him.
It's a real effect.
Also, he does not blink in any scene except for the sewer.
I didn't even notice that, really?
He does not blink.
That's kind of creepy.
Holy fuck.
That adds a whole new dimension to it.
Like I said, that was not something that I caught until my second
I didn't even catch that when I saw it.
There's so much shit I caught on my second viewing.
I gotta watch it again. I gotta see this
There's a scene in the library where Ben is flipping through the book.
Yeah.
There's a woman smiling in the background as he's getting terrified. And you're like, oh, that's him. That's it.
That's actually really scary.
He's in the scene. That makes it so much fucking scarier.
And anything with like subtle background characters doing weird shit like that is always scary.
Anything subtle is just especially in this movie.
Oh yeah, this movie was the king of subtle scare. You know what? Yeah. I'm glad it didn't do.
And at the same time,
in the age of jump scares.
I mean, it had a lot of jump scares.
Well, yeah, but in the age of jump, you see. I'm glad to see a lot of like subtlety.
It was a mix.
Yeah.
And one of the criticisms that I've seen levied against this movie, and Red Letter Media did a great review of the movie that I really, really think is a great review that I totally disagree with.
Oh, yeah.
And like, it's just like, I can acknowledge when like, okay, you know what, I see why this didn't work for you, but you know what, I loved it.
They didn't give it a review?
They gave it a mixed review.
Okay.
And one of the things they said was they loved all the shit with the kids, and they said, it's just this horror movie getting in the way of a great kid's story.
I don't know about that.
And to me, this movie is Stand By Me with a clown that eats children. So the kid stuff is great and it's endearing, but I feel like the fact that it's juxtaposed with killer clown horror
Killer
is
Bill
so
Skarsgård.
Not even clown, like he turns into their genuine fears.
Yeah.
So,
even the name.
So here's the thing: one of the big criticisms was, and Doug Walker and Rob Walker.
I did watch that. Yeah.
God, I could not disagree with them more.
Yeah,
I feel like they went into this movie and wanted to hate it, and they hated it because they intended to.
Yeah.
And all the comments were just like tearing the shit into them. Like, wow, you guys seem really, bitter and jaded for no reason.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired
like,
of them. Keep going.
That's a whole nother debacle. But like, one of the big criticisms is just all the jump scares, and this will tie into my feelings towards It as a character. I think It is the best horror villain ever made.
Oh, really?
And I didn't realize it until this movie, because he feeds on fear, and here's the thing. He's a shapeshifter who feeds on fear. They use the idea of feeding on fear as a device in the plot.
Yes.
So all of the jump scares, that's not meant to spook out the audience all the time. If you read into it as like a device in the movie, that's it trying to scare the kids.
Right.
So all these jump scares, all these like, whoa, fucking the clown is here.
It's tapping into you like that.
That's a device in the movie.
Right.
That's not him trying to scare the audience. That's him trying to interact with the children directly.
Oh, okay.
So when you read it like that, it's like, it makes sense. He is a walking horror device. And he feeds on fear. So every time he does something weird, like, why would he let the kids go? He's seasoning his food. Because they state the more fear he feeds on, the better sustenance he gets. So when he's like scaring the shit out of Eddie and he's like trying to bite his fingers off and then he doesn't, like, or when he lets Bill go after he fails to catch him in the basement, or when he lets Eddie go when he's in the backyard of the haunted house, it's all him seasoning his food. And he turns into the children's fears. He's tapping into their, like, deepest, darkest fears so that he can get better sustenance. He is a horror villain who, his entire existence is to scare the characters. That's his modus operandi.
And he does it successfully.
And so, anytime I saw a horror trope that didn't gel with me, I remembered, like, this isn't just meant to be spooky for me. It's meant to be an analysis of horror as a device.
Oh!
And it uses horror tropes as kind of a plot device. So jump scares, subtle scares, deep, dark fears, they're all his methods. And an aspect from the book that, this is another criticism, is the kids act like dumb horror kids. Like, why does Ben follow the fucking eggs into the basement? Here's the thing that they allude to in the movie that doesn't get as touched on as much, unfortunately, because they didn't have the budget. This movie only had a $35 million budget. It made a buttload. So they said a lot of the stuff that is getting cut from this movie is going to be in the sequel.
Oh, nice. Part 2, baby.
So one of the things in the book is it has almost a hypnotic quality where he can... it's implied that he whips the KKK into a frenzy to burn down this black nightclub so that he can feed on the on both the evil of the Ku Klux Klan as well as their victims, because it is the embodiment of evil.
Oh yeah, of course.
So what I interpreted, once again, it's a horror movie that's utilizing tropes and devices as literal plot elements. When the kids do, like, why does Richie walk into the room with all the fucking, like, why would he do that?
I have no clue why.
It's hypnotizing them.
Oh.
In a way that's not like, oh, you're gonna walk in the room. It's like this visceral element to him that's almost alluring. And they don't really delve... It's something beyond our understanding. Because it is a creature beyond our understanding.
Exactly.
His true form is incomprehensible to the human mind. So, those little weird scenes where, like, why are the kids doing this? It's that hypnotic quality of it that's also delved into in the book when he can kind of hypnotize these evil crowds. And so that's why I was not turned off by that element either. Because these criticisms levied against the movie, which, if it doesn't gel with you, I get it. But to me, it worked for me because I interpreted it as a plot element. And it's not something that's up front. To me, I feel like you do have to kind of read into it. And I think that's one of the things I really credit this movie for, it is way smarter than it needed to be.
Oh yeah, this movie did not.
This is a general audience movie that it works for the general audience because it's just like, it's a horror movie with a spooky clown. But for people who want something more than that, there's something more than that in here. And one of the biggest reasons why is because Andy Muschietti used 60% of Fukunaga's script.
Oh.
He used it as a basis. And he basically made a book-accurate version of Fukunaga's script. Granted, there are changes in here every now and then. Not to the degree that Fukunaga's was going to change. Mm-hmm. But there's every change is still made within the spirit of the book. And that's also why Stephen King loved it. Meanwhile, he hated The Shining. Even though The Shining is upheld as one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Because it was not book accurate. And, man, it is hot in my basement. It is. Right now. I'm sweating.
What's the power on? Hold on. See, we're on red right now. We may have to switch it to a phone in a second. Actually, I might do it now just so I don't lose anything.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick intermission.
Quick intermission. The next part before you end it.
Yep, go ahead.
Don't end it yet.
Nope, okay.
This next segment is going to talk about the Fukunaga script of It, and then we're going to delve into Sonic Mania. And
exactly.
Tap off the podcast.
Cool.